Hey, welcome back to Case Studies. I want to talk today about habits and rituals, and specifically the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and breaking down kind of his formula or his structure on how he thinks about habits and productivity. And then lastly, I want to kind of wrap up with the habits and rituals that are the most impactful for me on a personal basis to bring happiness and kind of success in my life. And so the first lesson or the first step to atomic habits or creating great habits, creating a new habit, is to make it obvious. It needs to be clear. It needs to be deliberate. And so you need to know the exact behavior that you want changed. You need to know the time when you're going to do this behavior. You need to know the location that it's going to happen. And then lastly, there's this concept of habit stacking, which is we already have really, really, really good habits, but we also have bad habits. And so the idea is when you're trying to implement a new habit, that you stack it on top of another habit that's already there. And so an example of this, I had a friend named Nick Hansen that kind of got off track with studying the Bible and studying the scriptures. And this was something that in his life he wanted to add back in. But something that he was really good at was going to the gym every day. He would go to the gym every day, 6 days a week. And so his version of habit stacking is he said, before I go into the gym, I will sit in my car and I will go read the Bible for 10 minutes. And just by stacking a new habit that he wanted to have in his life with an existing habit and knowing exactly what he was going to do, when he was going to do it, he took this thing that he didn't have in his life and added it. And it was very easy to go add into his life. So number 2 is to make it attractive. We do what we like to do. And so it's one thing to say, oh, I should do this. I should eat better. I should work out every day. I should study every day. But you have to make it attractive. You've got to put it in a position where you get a reward for doing that thing. And so getting clarity, not just the how to, but way more important is the what and the why. What do I want to do and why do I want to do it? And have so many reasons. And so how I go about this is when I've modeled a behavior of somebody that is really attractive to me, that I like that in my life, I'll identify what the behavior is or what the habit that I want to go add in. And then I'll also add a list of things for why I love that activity, why I will love that activity. And so an example of this that's a new habit that I added in 2024 that's become one of my favorite habits is the habit of barbecuing or Traegering on it, a couple times a week or on a weekly basis. So for my entire life, Chelsea has been super passionate about cooking and it's just, I could hardly make a peanut butter sandwich. And for some reason, I just got into this kick where I said, hey, in 2024, I'm going to start cooking. I'm going to start, barbecuing on a weekly basis. So number 1 is buy a Traeger. So I went and bought the best Traeger I could buy. And then number 2 is deciding when I'm going to go do it. And so it was, Sundays was the easy one. And then sometimes during the week. And then it's making a list of all the reasons why I'm going to love doing it. And so it's that the food is fresh, it's clean, that I have this opportunity to chill outside and listen to music. We have a pool outside. So I'll open the pool and it's beautiful. I can make phone calls. When I'm home, I can have my kids come play in the pool and I can be with my kids. And so just having a list of the things or the habits or the rituals that are going to happen with this that are really attractive to me, that get me really excited, has made that habit so easy, where it's become a part of me. I look forward to it. Can't wait to go do it. So the third part of creating habits is you have to make it easy. You have to make it simple. And if you have to make it easy, complexity kills great ideas. We have this paralysis by analysis, and we overthink these things and we end up doing nothing. And so it's our job to simplify the task into the most rudimentary thing that it's almost, embarrassing if we don't get it done. And so for me, the process of making Traeger easy was get a Traeger, get the pellets in advance, buy the meats and have them prepped and ready, before the weekend, plan, what I'm going to go do. And so that when I show up, it's literally, I've got all the ingredients and all I need to do is go turn it on and go get going. Where if I don't do that, the idea of going and buying stuff from the store, the idea of, all the prep work that needs to go into it, have to go spend the time to look up the actual recipe. The friction in that makes it where you don't end up doing the habit or the activity. Fatigue makes a coward out of all men. And it's, the time to go implement these habits, these kind of success or atomic habits or rituals, is when we're fresh and when we're energetic. And so, having that plan and then making it easy is the answer. So really good example of this is working out, having your clothes next to your bed, having your shoes next to your bed, paying in advance for the gym membership, or planning your workout in advance. You know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to go for a run. You're going to go to a gym, and all those friction points, if you haven't worked them out, you're just not going to make it happen. Our inertia kind of moves us in a different direction. And when you wake up tired or when you wake up fatigued, you end up going the path of least resistance instead of, going and building the life that you want to go live. Number 4 is you got to make it satisfying or rewarding. It's so important to stack these habits with an emotional reward or something that gets us really excited if we want to go make the habit stick. And some of these, the reward that you get, whether it's studying a book, whether it's, working out on a daily basis, the rewards are obvious, but it's identifying and making sure that you celebrate and that there is a reward on a daily basis for this habit that you're putting in place, and allows it to become a part of your life. So anyway, those are the 4 steps. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and also make it satisfying and rewarding. So with that said, I want to go through the 10 habits that I have in my life that add the highest quality of life. So number 1 is waking up early. This started, when I was in high school, but it wasn't a deliberate habit. It was, I've got, weightlifting earlier, I've got sports earlier, school early, and I've got to go wake up. But over time, whether it's the mission or whatever it is, I've found that mornings are when I'm the most fresh and where I have the most clarity. And the difference between waking up at 6 and waking up at 7, that hour is the difference between me having a miracle morning or me having a successful morning or not having a successful morning and getting crammed and getting rushed. And so for me, I've found that early morning is the most important part of my day. And so the next habit when I wake up, it's meditate. So I'll go through, I will not check my phone. I will go straight into a space. And I've added, rituals to that. Like I'll light a candle, or I'll have something that smells good, a Pura fragrance dispenser, whatever it is, something that adds like really good smells, something that adds an environment that just like makes me happy. And then I'll go do a guided meditation. And then I go through 3 questions on a daily basis. What gets me excited? Who am I? And what are my biggest opportunities? And just that process in the morning from 6 to 7 puts me in a exceptional emotional state. where I'm grateful, I'm focused, I'm abundant, I'm clear on what I need to go get done for the day. And none of that happens if, I would have woken up an hour later and I'm getting kind of caught in the fog. So a second habit that is the easiest to implement, this is so simple, it takes a minute to 2 minutes a day and it'll fundamentally change your life, is this habit of doing a top 10 on a daily basis. The idea of this top 10 is on a daily basis, and for me, I would do it twice a day. I do it morning and night when you wake up and before you go to bed, of listing off. I like writing, but on your phone, but you have to do something physical where you list off the 10 most important goals in your life. And when you start doing this, it's really hard. And you're actually you have to work pretty hard at getting clarity on what the 10 most important goals are in your life. But after you do it for a week or 2 weeks, it is so easy. And what you want is that you get to the point where in your sleep, if somebody woke you up, you could list off these 10 things. And the visual that I get for how this is effective is you think of the sun that's coming down and it's heating the earth and it's heating all of us. And then you think about the sun over a magnifying glass, and that energy, when it hits that magnifying glass, it focuses the energy in a way that actually creates fire. It actually creates so much heat and so much energy that it can go create fire. And that's the difference between these goals and these habits in this top 10, is if you can get that type of clarity on what you want in your life, your reticular activating system, it will see a path for you to go get that thing in your life on a daily basis. And so having clear goals are the difference between getting clear outcomes. And so I, went with my students at BYU, we'll do this on a quarterly basis. And we'll do this 30-day challenge where twice a day, morning and night, they list the top 10 things in their life, the top 10 goals. And you have to erase it right after you list it. And the whole idea is you want to burn this into your subconscious mind. You want this thing so clear and so accurate that if somebody woke you up in the middle of the night, you could give them this list. And when it gets that clear, that's when my personal life has changed. And I could go thing after thing after thing that I've accomplished in my life that I would attribute so much of it to this simple habit or ritual, this 2-minute ritual on a daily basis of listing out top 10. The third habit is weekly planning. It is the habit that changes all the habits. I did another podcast on this specific thing where I go more in detail, but from a high level, it's wake up early, review the previous week, identify my roles and set new goals or new big rocks in those roles, and then implement that into my schedule. Habit number 4 is a daily workout. My life is so much better when I do something physical on a daily basis. It releases endorphins. It makes me proud. There's some magic in doing something hard on a daily basis. And it gets to the point where at this point for me, working out is not hard. I crave it. And if I don't get it done, I'm missing something in my life. And so having that habit or ritual of working out and doing something physically hard on a daily basis has been one of the things that's added the most quality of life out of any of my other habits. Habit number 5 is micro giving. There's macro giving and then there's micro giving. And my philosophy on this is that we live constantly on a daily basis, fluctuating between scarcity and abundance. And I try to do things on a daily basis where I choose to live abundantly, where I exercise this muscle of abundance. And micro giving for me is a way to do that. I learned this from Todd Peterson. He was a mentor of mine. He was my boss and just an exceptional human. But I would watch him as kind of a young professional, and he was so generous and he would always give, whether it's tipping at a restaurant, whether it's giving, paying for somebody's gas at a gas station. And I've tried to emulate and implement this, and it creates so much quality of life for me. I could go on and on and on about experiences that I've had. But specifically, DoorDash has been one that makes it easy. So going back to James Clear's rules, about how to implement a habit, you need to make it attractive, but you also need to make it easy. And so DoorDash for me, it's something that, when we order food, I try to have cash on hand, where I can actually go tip the DoorDash person and try to do it in a disproportionate way. Try to do $100 or try to do something that just lights that person up. And then also to look them in the eye and to acknowledge them for the work that they're doing and the hustle that they're putting in. And these special experiences make me exercise that habit of being abundant. And it's amazing how many times when the DoorDash person is coming and I'll get this inkling of, hey, let's not do it today. Or, I'm tired or I'm fatigued, right? And when I get that little voice and I choose, no, like go out, meet the person, look them in the eye, tell them thank you and give them a tip. And I always walk in so uplifted, whether it's doing that or paying for somebody's gas or listening to somebody. It doesn't need to be financial, and all of us are in different points in that financial journey. But all of us have time, and all of us have good attitude, and all of us can listen, and all of us can build people up, and all of us fluctuate through that point on a daily basis of, am I abundant and do I give abundantly with my time, or am I scarce and do I, hoard it? And that habit of micro giving has been life-changing for me. Habit number 6, go to church on a weekly basis with my family. I didn't appreciate this habit when I was growing up. My family did it, and it was actually something that I didn't love. I kind of dreaded going to church. But as I've got older, I've seen the wisdom in this process of waking up and getting ready and going to a service and being with your community and celebrating all the good in life and focusing on things that you can do better and recommitting to be better and listening to people and just having a moment where you can be together with your community, with your family, and that you can kind of celebrate God and celebrate the good things. That habit or that ritual has become so special for me. And people who I look up to, when I would go on trips or I would go on vacations, going to church was the last thing that I would want to go do. And it's become something that we really love as a family, where even on trips, we'll get ready and we'll go to a local chapel and we'll go have this local, beautiful experience, even in other countries, where you're able to go see people doing their best, showing up, celebrating God, celebrating community, celebrating family. And that habit or ritual has been so beneficial for me in my life. And I never understood the value of it until I've got older. And now it's something that's really special to me. Habit number 7 is the habit of quarterly dates or quarterly getaways with Chelsea. This thing has added so much quality of life to my relationship and Chelsea's relationship. And it's very simple. We'll pick a location. We'll head off for a day. We will, love each other. We'll listen to each other. We'll go to a place that we both want to be. But most of the focus has to do with reconnecting as a couple, being intimate, being loving, but then also reviewing the previous quarter and how it went, and the next quarter and what's coming, and making sure that we're on the same page. We have, our family mission statement, and we have our guiding principles. And it's reviewing that and saying, are we living in line with what we believe? Do our actions match our beliefs to each other, to our community? And then it's going through one-on-one with each one of our kids and saying, hey, where are we at? and having a plan for each one of our kids. And this goes back to that principle of sharpening the saw. When we didn't do this, we would kind of just get lost, and it wasn't out of not trying, but we just weren't working on the right things, where this has allowed us to get on the same page, to feel totally connected. If there are things that are a little off with our relationship, we retune them and refix them. And so building that into our schedule has been life-changing. Habit number 8, pay yourself first. This is a principle from the richest man in Babylon. It goes to having a strong financial foundation. Always paying yourself first and putting that money to work has been life-changing for my family. We try to teach our kids that principle. I was in the hot tub with my daughter, Covey, and she got started investing, a couple of years ago. And now she's really learning this, principle of investing, and we're talking through it. And she said, well, if I'm investing money, how do I ever spend it? I said, you can spend it any time. But the whole idea is that if you can eat one marshmallow today, or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 marshmallows down the road, which one would you do? And she said, well, I'd want 10 of them. And I said, well, most people don't choose that. Most people choose the one marshmallow today, and then they hope the 10 down the road will work themselves out. And that's not how investing works. And so going that habit of paying myself first and putting it to work, not touching the principle and letting compounding happen, has created so much financial security for my family. Number 9, gratitude list. I'm big on lists. I'll always have a notebook or a calendar, and this little simple habit of writing a question at the top of a notebook and then listing out the answers to that question allow me to get clarity. And one of the questions, or 2 of the questions that I ask and answer pretty consistently that put me in a really good mindset is, what am I grateful for? And listing off all of the things. And I'll try to, if I have time, I'll try to go to 100 plus. And it's amazing how when I list off all the things that are good in the world, I just have a way better energy and a way better mindset. What's wrong is available, and so is what's right. But having a habit or a ritual of forcing myself to go list out the things that I'm grateful for, make me better, and I show up better. The sister to that is what's good in my life. And when I ask that question and list off those answers, I leave with a really exceptional energy when I can list off all the things that are good in my life. And I could go on and on: my health, my family, my home, Utah, the spring, golf, football, baseball, Traeger, my community, investments that we're doing, teaching at BYU, adventures that are coming up in the future. There's just so many things. And if you can list those things off and be aware of them, you show up with a way better energy than, finding all the bad or finding everything that's wrong in life. Or it's just, both things are always there. That's just the nature of life. What's wrong and what's not working, but also what's good and what is working. And giving my time and effort and energy to what's good. You don't experience life, you experience the life that you focus on. And even in the hard times, there's so much good to be identified. And I'm just committed to living a beautiful life in a beautiful state. And these habits or nudges allow me to be there more often than when I'm not doing them. The last one, how I'll finish up, is modeling excellence. This has been a habit my entire career, and it's fundamentally changed the course of my career. And it's just very, very simple. It's paying attention to people that are excellent in a category that you're interested in. It could be money. It could be your career. It could be your body. It could be they have a special relationship with their spouse. It could be so many things. But finding people that are world-class, interviewing them, and then modeling them, shamelessly implementing the habits and rituals and skills that they have and making them your own. And I go through my life, and very few of my habits and rituals are really my own. They're taken from people, thought leaders that I look up to, that I want to emulate the results that they're getting in their life. And so the key principle of this is that everyone will give you advice, and you need to be so careful who you take advice from. And you need to make sure that the person that you are taking advice from, they're getting the results in their life that you emulate in your life. And those are the people that actually know how to get that result. And so for me, my first summer selling, I went and interviewed the top 5 people in the organization in sales. And I got these incredible maps or these incredible insights on how I could go be a top sales professional. In marriage, we were so blessed. We moved into a community where most of our peers were 10 to 15 years older. And when we take these couples on dates, we would get these really clear habits or rituals or things that they did to have a really exceptional marriage. In finance, I could go on and on in finance or personal help, but the idea is that if you can get in the habit of modeling, actually being aware of what life you want to go live and who does a good job from the outside at living that life, and interviewing them and understanding their psychology. I had an example of this the other day that was so profound to me. I was golfing with a kid named Carson Lundell, and he was the #1 golfer at BYU for a lot of years. He's in the process of, he's a professional golfer now. He's trying to make the PGA Tour, where for me, I'm an amateur golfer. I've been doing it for 4 or 5 years. And so I see someone who's excellent, and it's so inspiring to me. But as I was golfing with Carson, he had a long shot, kind of a 180-yard shot, 190-yard shot. So for me, it'd be a 6-iron, which is a club that I hit good some of the time. And his mindset or his mentality was so insightful to me. He said, these are the shots that I love the most, the long irons, because this is where I have an advantage. Good ball strikers differentiate themselves from everybody else in the long irons, and I am a great ball striker. And all of a sudden, I just got this insight to where I roll up to that shot with anxiety, or I roll up with that shot with lack of confidence. And somebody who's world class, he's excited about that shot, because he has put in the time, effort, and energy, but also the psychology of knowing this is where I differentiate myself. And if anybody's played golf, how you step up to the ball and your confidence is so impactful to the outcome you get. But it's not just golf, it's life. And showing up to life with the right confidence and the right mindset makes all the difference in the world. And the only way that you can get it is to either learn by your own mistakes, which isn't a great way to go do it. You're going to learn that way regardless. But if you want to, shrink decades into days, it's really paying the price, understanding people who are excellent, who've achieved excellence, and tapping into their mindset and then copying them shamelessly and going and putting those habits and rituals to go be the type of people that can go do those things. So anyway, this is Atomic Habits. Appreciate you guys listening in. Hopefully some of this stuff is helpful. Look forward to seeing you again another day.